is Mitch Messer, but honestly, I don't expect you to care, at least not yet. This is the BiggerPockets homepage. Note that I am not logged in right now, so anyone with a web browser can do exactly what I'm doing. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you aren't reaping all the benefits and feeling all the love of the BiggerPockets community. And that's a complete tragedy, because right here on BiggerPockets is all the wisdom, all the support, all the funding you'll ever need to be a successful real estate investor. I know this from personal experience, but more on that later. For now, let's take a look at some statistics. Down here at the bottom, way down here at this stats link, is the BiggerPockets statistics page. It shows, among other things, the total number of folks that are on BiggerPockets, just around 1.3 million. How many companies? 52,000. How many forum posts, etc. But I want to draw your attention to this number here, this 938. It's the number of new members that came in today. Today is April 20th, 2019, and we've got 938 people that have joined. Now, I've been watching this statistics page for nearly a year, and I've seen that number go as high as 1,300 and as low as about 800. But a pretty safe average throughout the year is about 1,000 per day. That's 1,000 people joining BiggerPockets every day. That's quite a number of people. So clearly there are plenty of folks already here on BiggerPockets and another 1,000 joining the party every day. So there's plenty of folks here. So the question that has to be asked is, why aren't you seeing the success and support you expected when you joined BiggerPockets? It's not because there aren't people here. You should know that you're not alone. The big tragedy is that most members will never figure out how to unlock BiggerPockets and make it work for them. They will try, they will fail, and then they will give up. So let's take a look at what failure looks like. If you take a stroll over to the BiggerPockets forums, which is here under forums, and specifically the unanswered discussions. So these are all the posts that never got a single response. All those show up here. And if you'll note, there's 20 posts per page, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you see there's 2,600 pages. Now, some of these are recent. Some of these just got posted an hour ago, and an hour from now they'll be gone from this list because somebody will respond. But there are some here from years ago. At 2,600 pages and 20 posts per page, that's about 52,000 unanswered posts. That's a lot of failure. Even if you account for those purely informational posts, someone posting about an event, for example, so you wouldn't expect to see a response, that's still a ton, thousands, tens of thousands of people who posted on BiggerPockets asking for help who got no response. So let's look at some of these. Let's go all the way to the end. These are people who posted almost 11 years ago. And you can look through the posts and see that, let's pick this poor guy. State of Georgia newbie. I happen to operate in Georgia, so let's see what they had to say. They've got questions, they're needing help, they're asking for help, they spent a fair amount of time typing this in, and yet nobody responded. Why did no one respond? Well, I can tell you off the bat that there are a couple of things that I can see right now that would make it very unlikely that the average person who could help would help. First, they didn't provide a name. M-Mace tells me nothing. So I'm not inclined to help somebody who hasn't taken the time to give us a full name. Second thing that's wrong here is this is not them. This is a stick figure that they pulled off of someplace so that they wouldn't have to put their picture on there. That's the default picture for BiggerPockets. And we'll talk about this later in the course, but if you don't take the time to show me what you look like, then I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to answer your question. Also note, this is their very first post. They've only posted once, and this was it. So their very first time on BiggerPockets, their opportunity to reach this great community of experienced investors, and the first thing they do is ask for help. They're not giving, they're taking. And that rubs a lot of people, myself included, the wrong way, because it makes me believe that if I give them their answer, they're gone, I'm never going to hear from them again, and I've wasted my time helping somebody who's not really going to contribute to the BiggerPockets community. So you can, if you're so inclined, you can go through this. Anyone, again, with a web browser can do exactly what I'm doing, and you can see all the people throughout the years who posted a question and got no response back whatsoever. These members probably walked away from BiggerPockets thinking that no one could help them. But the truth is actually far worse. No one wanted to help them. If you're not getting help on BiggerPockets, it's because no one wants to, because people are here and they're ready to answer your questions if you make it easy for them. I joined BiggerPockets on January 22nd, 2014. I chose the free account option. I didn't pay for an account. And I started looking around the website. Like most people, I was overwhelmed by all the content, the forum posts, the marketplace ads, the blogs, the courses. There's a lot of content. And I rarely posted, and I never, ever voted for anyone else's posts. To be honest, I was really just there to market my wholesale deals. I had a wholesale business that was running, and I had deals I wanted to get out to the world. I knew BiggerPockets was a good-sized community, so I posted my deals on the BiggerPockets marketplace and then sat back and waited for responses. And I got crickets. I got no response. I got nothing. Total failure. Repeatedly. More than one deal I tried this. And so I gave up. Now, I recently wrote a blog post about this common failure scenario. And let's see. If I go to member blogs, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but just note how I'm finding this blog post of mine. For BiggerPockets blogs, they list the top blog posts by month, by year, and all time. If you go to the top blog posts of all time, there I am. Top 5 reasons we pros are totally ignoring your BiggerPockets forum questions. So, October of last year, I wrote a post describing my experience, and it was the genesis of this course, because I figured out why so many people are failing on BiggerPockets, why there's so much opportunity on the one hand, but failure to connect on the other hand. But more on this later. I came back to BiggerPockets in 2015, about a year after my initial failure. And this time I took a radically different approach. I said, what if instead of trying to just take from BiggerPockets, what if I actually tried to give first? So I actually started contributing. I posted solutions to problems I knew how to solve. I had been a landlord for more than a decade by that point, and so if people asked questions about landlord and tenant situations, I could answer those, so I answered those. I help people understand tricky investing concepts. We've done lots of owner financing and subject to, so I could answer those questions. I shared the names of great attorneys that we'd worked with here in Atlanta, great mortgage brokers, great insurance agents, great contractors I'd worked with. I took my Rolodex, for those of you who remember what a Rolodex looks like, and I shared it with the BiggerPockets community. When people wanted to know, give me a good referral for an electrician, I was there to answer that question. I offered words of encouragement for those new investors who were just getting started and timidly asking their first basic questions. I didn't shame them. I didn't humiliate them. I wanted to encourage them to be a part of this community. For those people who actually had successes, I applauded their successes online, publicly. I started voting for great posts and connecting to other investors on BiggerPockets through the colleague request. We'll talk about that later. But basically, I looked for ways to be helpful to the community. Fast forward to now. Again, this is April 2019, and my results speak for themselves. As of today, I've written well over 1,000 forum posts, and on average, I earn about a vote for every other post that I make. So for every 2 posts, I get a vote from somebody indicating that they liked what I had to post. I've earned nearly every award BiggerPockets has to offer. In fact, if we go to my profile, oh, I won't show it because this is behind all that good stuff's behind the paywall. Okay, fair enough. We'll talk about that later. But I've earned nearly every award BiggerPockets has. In the last 12 months, I've sold at least about 4 wholesale deals just using the BiggerPockets marketplace, the thing I failed at doing when I first started. I've grown my investor list by easily 400 plus investors in the last 4 years as a direct result of my activity on BiggerPockets. I've attracted easily 100 serious out-of-state and international investors, and I've done wholesale deals with many of them. And where I was before, that blog post, as you saw, has been viewed well over 2,500 times as of April. And 90 days after I published it, it had already made it to the top 5 posts of all time on BiggerPockets. So the issue that I'm identifying is one that a lot of people resonate with. But probably the most important result for me is that I now get approached pretty much every week, I'd say 2 or 3 times a week, by investors from around the world looking to partner or joint venture with me. I influence hundreds of buying decisions every month. All those referrals of mortgage bankers and insurance agents, all that represents revenue for those folks, and I get to channel and funnel those funds, creating tens of thousands of dollars in revenue for my colleagues and partners and contractors. These days I spend just under $500 a year on a BiggerPockets Pro membership, but just to be clear, that's not how I started. I did not become a pro when I first came onto BiggerPockets. I did the cheap, free account, and then only, I'd say, in the last couple of years did I decide to move to pro. But you do not have to be a pro to be a BiggerPockets badass. So I've developed this course so that if you follow it, I can guarantee that you'll be seen as a serious and powerful real estate investor that people will seek to partner with. You'll be a BiggerPockets badass, just like me. And while it took me a couple of years to get traction, you'll be able to do it in months because you'll have me coaching you through it. I had to learn all this stuff myself through trial and error, and it took as long as it did because in some cases I'm a slow learner. But now that I know how to make this thing work, I can get it done, and I can show you how to get it done. And you won't have to become a fanatic on BiggerPockets. You won't need to spend hours on here on a regular basis. You can get what I'm proposing in about 15 minutes per day. I tend to spend more time because, frankly, the more time I spend, the more money I make. But if you just wanted to get to the point where people were approaching you as a source of information, then 15 minutes per day should do it. Last thing is, I'm an engineer by training, so I've learned to develop metrics, which I define as specific ways to measure success, just to make sure that I'm making real progress and not just fooling myself. I mean, there are lots of courses out there and lots of ways you can spend your money. What you want to know is, am I actually making real progress, and can I measure that progress? So every step along the way, I'll show you these metrics that I use and how to calculate yours. So the first metric for this first section of the course is cash on cash return, or return on investment. But my favorite flavor of that is cash on cash, which is real simple. It's how much did I get out of this divided by how much did I put into this? Well, the put into is the $500 a year of membership for BiggerPockets Pro. And what I get out of this is all of the deals that I sell just because I'm on BiggerPockets, all the connections that I make because I'm on BiggerPockets, all the revenue that I can direct and influence because I'm on BiggerPockets. All those things are what show up in the numerator of my calculation. And so for me these days, I'm probably seeing at least a good $10,000 of value, probably $10,000 to $50,000 worth of value from BiggerPockets annually. And for a $500 annual investment, that's a pretty darn good return on investment. That's, 1,000%? So it's safe to say that I am very happy with the return that I'm getting on my BiggerPockets investment. And if you were too, you probably wouldn't be listening to this course. So if you're not getting the results you want and you want to level up your success on BiggerPockets, then I think you've come to the right place.